Hello, my name is Cody, and I just wanted to talk about the future of the Resident Evil films. Um, I really don't know what's going on after Afterlife and the what's that other bullshit that came after Afterlife? That was horrible. It was just simply horrible. We really need a reboot. If anybody can get on here and protest against Paul Anderson, it's been almost 2 years and I haven't seen a Resident Evil movie, so I'm thinking he's done. I'm hoping he's done. I haven't heard any news or any upcoming news about any new Resident Evil film coming out. The way the last one ended seemed like he was going to come out with another one, and I was like, Jesus, how much more damage can you do before we get a reboot? So if you guys have any insight or any new information about that, please hit me up on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But man, I can't believe it's been since 2002 when Paul Anderson came out with the first Resident Evil film. That's crazy. And I used to give the first film a pass. You know, I was like, okay, it's not bad. But I was just tricking myself. That movie's so much garbage. I watched it like last week I watched it and I couldn't even watch it. I was like, Jesus Christ. You know, and it's just a shame, you know. That movie, well, that genre or that franchise had so much potential. I mean, of course, a lot of people don't know, and some people do know, that George A. Romero, the fucking godfather of zombie films, was actually, you know, on the job at first and actually wrote a script for the first Resident Evil movie, but they chose Paul W.S. Anderson instead, which was retarded, which this man has. His resume was so minimal back then. He directed Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon. And I like both those films. But the key word that I used was directed. Not, he didn't write it. He just directed it. It's not that hard to point a camera and tell people, okay, in this scene, so and so and so and so and so and so and so, okay, action. That's not that hard. But when you actually take a script or screenplay and write it well, the movie's going to do good regardless, because it's a great script and a great screenplay with some talented actors on the screen. You can go a long way, even if the director does suck. You can still go a long way with that and still make a great film. So he had just those two movies up under his belt, and they chose him to make the Resident Evil film over George A. Romero, who was a zombie master. You know, you got films like, well, Return of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, both of them. I mean, gee, even Land of the Dead. Even Land of the Dead was better than all the Resident Evil films combined. And Land of the Dead, to me, was his weakest one. George A. Romero's weakest film. But I just don't get that. We seriously need a reboot, and I've really been on Twitter trying to contact Zack Snyder, but I know he's super busy with the new Wonder Woman and the new Batman vs. Superman and the new Man of Steel movie coming out. He hasn't tweeted since freaking November 13th of last year, so, you know, that lets me know he's not ignoring me or anything like that. I just tweeted him, you know, hey, look, I sent him a couple of wallpapers from a couple of Resident Evil games and say maybe you might see some potential there. Maybe, you know, if anybody, I always said after Dawn of the Dead, which came out back in 2004, which did better than Resident Evil 1, 2 combined, because those two movies came out. I think the first one came out in I think the first Resident Evil came out in 2002, then the next one came out like 2003, or late 2003, maybe 2004, and Dawn of the Dead was way better than that. So I always said, if somebody was to actually reboot this movie, even though I knew Paul Anderson had a contract for the Resident Evil films, depending on how they did, he would be the guy to do it. You know, visually, he's a great director. Visually stunning. I mean, we've seen that with Watchmen, we've seen that with Dawn of the Dead, we've seen that with 300, and I even like Sucker Punch. Even though that was his weakest film, I still liked it, you know. It wasn't his best film, but it was still good to me. And I always say Zack Snyder or Guillermo del Toro or Peter Jackson, since Guillermo del Toro loves anime and video games, and so does Peter Jackson. And both of them kind of came from a hard background anyway. I was thinking maybe those guys could do it. But see, I don't think I tried to check, and Peter Jackson doesn't have a Twitter, and Guillermo doesn't have one either. So I was like, damn, but Zack Snyder had one. So I just kind of threw it out there to him, just made it short, sweet, and quick. Hey, you might want to check this out because we really need a reboot. Us gamers deserve a reboot. Resident Evil, directed and written by Paul Anderson. I guess it's what the gamers need right now, but not what we deserve. I don't know, but it is a shame. It is really a shame, and I'm really hoping that a talented director can, restart, play the games. Study the material we only saw like a couple of monsters throughout the whole Resident Evil film franchise, and they didn't even do that right. They just tried to make it strictly a zombie film, but then gamers start protesting. Well, now the new thing is Las Plagas. Well, so he had to hurry up and throw some type of reference to Las Plagas in Resident Evil 4, which had no backstory about where they came from, what kind of species it is, what kind of organism it is, or anything. Same thing he did in the 5th Resident Evil movie, and Nemesis turning into a good guy, really? In the Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse, really? Nemesis turning into a good guy? The only thing that I liked about Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse was that in the canon story, Resident Evil 3 actually takes place before Resident Evil 2. So it would be right for Nemesis to be in the second Resident Evil film. That's the only thing that was right about it, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much at all. It's really not saying shit, if you really want me to be honest with you. But no, it's just a shame. It really is just a shame. And Mila Jovovich, I love you. I love The Fifth Element. Okay, I liked Ultraviolet. I thought it was good, but it's not your fault. You married the director and writer of the films. It's not your fault, but I'm getting kind of tired of seeing you on film with these related to Resident Evil. It's time for somebody else to grab the torch and make it right. Because let's face it, the Resident Evil franchise, by itself, a standalone, could have been damn near as epic as maybe, let's say, the Mission Impossible franchise. Or, I won't say Lord of the Rings franchise, because that's too fucking epic. But it could have been damn near as epic as the Matrix franchise. But we saw what happened to the Matrix franchise. But actually, on that subject, I actually liked all 3 of those films. Maybe not the 3rd one so much, but still, all 3 were pretty decent. I don't know why people trash on the 2nd one and the 3rd one so much. But anyway, getting off subject, let me get back to this. The matter at hand, it's just that, oh my God, can we please get a reboot and do it right? And I've actually written a script, but the thing is, I don't know people in Hollywood. I would have to have a screenwriting or a screenplay agent or a screenwriting agent to even get my script out there. And I don't have the money for that right now. But I've written the script, a couple of drafts actually, and I've always said the first film should start out with a family getting murdered in the outskirts of Raccoon City on a vacation trip, because these zombies are loose in the mansion, and they have kind of branched out into the woods, and they've gotten so far. A family was camping, had their doors wide open, kind of like in a cabin/home, lodge, loft, maybe, if you will. And, all hell breaks loose. Dad could have been barbecuing, Mom could have been in the kitchen washing dishes, Timmy could have been throwing the ball or throwing the frisbee at the dog. Now, I say Timmy, I know it's a typical white name, that's not racist or anything like that, but yeah, those are 2 far in the forest. You hear a loud scream. Dad doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Mom doesn't know what's going on. He goes to investigate. Dad gets taken out. Mom doesn't know what to do. She's scared shitless. She don't know where her son is or her husband, which can be so suspenseful if done right. Then she gets fucking eaten alive. Okay, not before she dials 911. Okay, so, to the RPD. But, anything. And you can make that like a 5-minute scene, maybe even 4-minute scene, and make it horrific, suspenseful, and just straight out fucking scary as hell, and then that's when the STARS team comes in to investigate. They can't find the zombies. They don't know what the fuck happened to them. They probably just walked off Walking Dead style. You know how zombies is. They fucking They fucking drift, you know? And while they're going to investigate what's happening in the woods, of course they find the mansion, okay? The bodies at the morgue, they seem dead, but of course they come back to life. So orderlies maybe see these black bags moving or hear these moans and stuff. He opens up to investigate. He gets killed, and that's how the outbreak starts to spread. While the while the Alpha team and the Bravo team are investigating what's going on, you know. But first, you know, Stars team would have to do the do. The Bravo team would have to do the do first. You know, then the Alpha team comes in and figures out, okay, Bravo team's last contact was over 2 hours ago. What the fuck is going on? You know, but you see what I'm saying? It's just like something off the top of my head. But damn, you know, you can make that look good on screen. You know, and I mean, just Jesus Christ. The films are just horrible. There's no backstory. Like in Resident Evil 4 Afterlife, when Chris Redfield was in it, he didn't mention anything about stars. Not to mention, it was just so random that he's just in this remote part of LA in this underground prison. I'm like, really? And then there's the guy from Prison Break that's in the prison. Really? Come on now, I mean, Claire doesn't remember Raccoon City. She doesn't even talk about Raccoon City in the third film. Or what was that called? Extinction. You know, she doesn't even, I mean, oh God. And then, you know, the Wesker, oh my God, Wesker could have been so badass, you know, if you really, I mean, hell, and to think, really, you know who would really be a great Wesker? Fucking Michael Fassbender. Because he can do that. That man is such a talented actor. I believe first of all, he has the build for it. If he needed to bulk up, he could. We've seen him play David in Prometheus, so he can be a trolling, secret-keeping, murdering bastard, or really android, or, you know, cyborg, or whatever you want to call him, robot or whatever. So, I mean, we can see that. He would be a great fucking Wesker, man. But that's just one, you know, that's just one character. I mean, but I don't understand. I don't understand. And then, I don't know. I like the first film, and then I go back today and just say it was total trash. Now, I like Michelle Rodriguez in the first film, you know, but it's just total trash, man. No Stars team, really? How are you going to have the mansion, but no fucking Stars team? Really? Really? And all the enemies in the first Resident Evil game, you only have zombies, zombie dogs, and a licker, which wasn't even in the first fucking Resident Evil game. What about the spiders? What about the sharks? What about the hunters? What about the big ass snakes? Okay, that's 4 right there. Zombies makes it 5. Okay, dogs makes it 6. You know, Crimson Heads, that could be such a height. That could be such a surprise to the audience when you find out about Crimson Heads and shit, and how fierce they are, and how they come back to life if you don't burn the bodies. And so you know now you have to burn the bodies when you kill them. You know, otherwise they come back and just tear ass. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it was horrible. They tried, and I give them that, and they tried their best to do what they could. But it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not what the fans wanted. It's nowhere near canon, and to have a mansion but no Stars team is just retarded. And the biggest star of them all, I was talking about Stars team, the biggest star of the show in the first game, on, you know, which should have been in the first film, is what? The Tyrant. Hell, the T in T virus stands for Tyrant. But they use they throw around T virus, the term T virus, like it has no meaning. It's just a virus, and it just so happens that a T is in front of it with a dash, virus. I mean, no Tyrant, really? The Tyrant is supposed to be the fucking grand finale of the film that you didn't see coming, along with Wesker, who betrayed the Stars team, that you weren't supposed to see coming either. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. You know? Well, I've ranted enough about this. I don't know if anybody is even going to listen to this video. But I would like to know what you think. Leave your comments below, and you guys have a great day or a great night, depending on the city and hemisphere you're staying in at the moment. But you guys take care. Thanks.